My guest at this time is the current longest reigning and only MLW National Openweight Champion. It's Hammerstone. Hammerstone, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, man. So wait, you are almost at 700 days with this championship. What does it mean for you to be able to have held this title for as long as that you have?
I mean, it means a lot. Obviously, there's somewhat of an asterisk next to that number just because, COVID did shut things down for a minute. But I like to think in my own optimistic mind that I'd be holding the title regardless of any situation that was presented. But it's really cool because, the fact that the championship was brought into the company and I was the first one to kind of run with it. It means I got to set the tone for it, got to set the precedent for what that championship means. And I think at this point, it definitely didn't just get lost in the shuffle. It's really thought of as kind of like a top prize in the company. So it's been cool, and I look forward to continuing that reign.
So what do you feel the tone of the title is? Is this the workhorse title? What do you think of the openweight title? What do you think it represents?
I thought of it that way a long time because, the thing was with, the World Heavyweight Championship, there'd be long feuds and storylines that culminated into somebody earning a championship opportunity. Similarly with the tag team championships and the middleweight championship, but often I found myself in a position where the company would, MLW is very focused on partnering and with other companies and reaching out and bringing in top talent that may not be under contract, but they're always trying to get the best talent in for shows. So I found myself in a position where a lot of the times when they would search out these competitors and bring in people for these shows, they maybe didn't have a place in the last couple months of storyline, but they know that they were a top competitor, world ranked. So I'd be put in a situation where, all right, go out there and, give them hell. So I wrestled guys like T-Hawk and Laredo Kid and all these guys who come from outside companies and didn't have necessarily a background in MLW, but were main event caliber talent. And so, yeah, it was very much the workhorse title. It was very much go out there, steal the show, go out there, do your thing, give them hell. Not a lot of wires put on me, on a lot of direction of how I had to, carry myself. Was, hey, you set the tone, do your thing, tell us what this title is going to mean. That being said, though, as time is carried on, it's almost become to the point where there's almost a feeling in the company where it seems like there's two heavyweight champions. And it's kind of like something's got to give at this point. And I don't like being called, number two. I don't like even being called 1A. So I'm getting a little bit impatient of settling this score of who's the top dog.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because I did want to talk about it. You and Fatu, the MLW World Champion, nearly kind of identical, almost 2-year reigns the two of you have had. So, I mean, I guess you're saying it's time to collide. What do you think there should just be one unified champion with one of you holding both the belts? Is that what you want to see here sooner than later?
I'm just saying it's real hard for me to claim that I'm the best, which is something I want to do. And it's really hard for him to claim that he's the best, which is something he's already doing. If the two of us haven't, squared up and settled that score. So, yeah, I think it's getting to the point where, that showdown is becoming imminent. And it's something that it's kind of at the boiling point, I would say.
So my question to you then is, if you took both of the titles, right, would you want to defend both the titles? Would you like to see something happen with the openweight title? Like, have you thought that far ahead, I guess, about like if you were to have both belts, what you would like to do with both of those titles?
I haven't thought too much about it. I'm a bit of a selfish prick in the sense that I don't want to have to give up a championship for an opportunity, another one. I'd like to, I've throughout my career, I've had quite the track run of, kind of collecting lots of championships. I'd like to keep that going. So, but that being said, I'd be more than happy to, if that means that my schedule increases, if that means that I'm even having multiple matches in the same night against multiple competitors, bring it on. Like, I fear that situation. I welcome it. I'm very much, don't just got a chip on my shoulder. I got a whole bag of Doritos. So, any chance I have to prove myself, any chance I have to, kind of put up or shut up, I'm going to take it. So, yeah, whatever that situation entails, if we get to that point, I'm down for whatever challenges it provides to me.
Now you're the national openweight champion, which allows people of really kind of, is that all weight classes? Anybody can kind of compete in that class. Is that the deal? Yes.
And how it's worked so far, which has meant I'm wrestling, luchadors that I outweigh by 70 pounds. It also means I've wrestled giants who outweigh me by a good 30, 40 pounds.
Sure. Okay. Well, then, like, what about the World Middleweight Championship? Leo Rush, a very hot name right now. Would you have to weight down? Like, would you be interested in a contest like that? Like, what are your thoughts on him as the champion?
I mean, so first and foremost, that's a match that I really want to have. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened at some point. Our paths have crossed, here, there, and a couple places in between. But yeah, if he wants to step up and challenge for the open weight championship, I'm more than welcome to that. I think cutting down to middleweight is something that is far beyond my capabilities.
That's why I asked, because you're a very big man. Okay.
Back a couple of years ago, wrestling for a company called PCW Ultra, they had as a 100% shoot. The promoter was kind of like, listen, I don't have a lot of spots in my heavyweight title picture. I have some spots in my light heavyweight thing, but it's a 250-pound weight cutoff, and I'm keeping it legit. So this guy cut down to 215 pounds and wrestle for a couple months, to have this spot on the show. But it ended up being quite the interesting storyline.
Oh man. Wow. Okay. Well, that's hardcore. Before you put this title on the line or possibly take another title or anything like that, you got to get the title back here. That's what's going down. So this is airing on Wednesday, the day of, leading right into it. So as of this moment, where is the title, Hammerstone?
I don't know. I don't know if Mil Muertes crawls back into a coffin or a grave, or I don't know how that works, or if he just crawls into, Selena's purse where she keeps his balls. But I digress. Then at the end of the day, the championship was stolen. It was not lost, which to clear up any confusion that anyone still might have, which has been very frustrating for me. I hate seeing tweets about how I lost my championship, which did not happen. But even that being said, just the fact that it was taken from me puts a little bit more excitement and intensity leading into this match coming up on April 14th.
What is it like for you to work with another wrestler who's like as big? I don't know. He may have. I mean, he's a big dude, right? Like big beefy dude. You got in there with Mil Muertes.
Well, that's the thing. It changes up the game plan for sure. I've wrestled Mil before. We've crossed paths before. So, I know that he brings it. I know that he's still, for a guy who's been doing it as long as he has, he still goes hard. But that being said, I can't toss him around like he's a cruiserweight. And I know he's going to hit just as hard as me. I know he's going to throw me just as much as I can throw him. But at the end of the day, I think I'll just have one too many tricks up my sleeve, and I'll be leaving with that championship.
Now you have obviously a lot of history and success in MLW with your group, the Dynasty. You've got De La Renta here now, trying to put together, her own group here. What do you think of the work she's been doing here and what she's brought to MLW right now?
I mean, she's an undeniable talent. She's undeniably a big part of the show, something that people want to see. For whatever reasons, different reasons people may want to see her. But like here's the thing. You can be a centerpiece of the show, but once you start crossing paths with once you start reaching into my cookie jar and trying to fix things that I earned, it's gonna be a problem. So I'm perfect. I have no problem with Selena. I have no problem with her having a big part of the show, running however many luchadors she wants to round up. But once you start messing with me, it's going to be a problem. And the Dynasty might be whittled down to just 2 members right now. But I think the 2 of us staying just as strong as however many luchadors we've collected at this point.
That was thank you for the lead in there. I was going to ask you, what is the status of the Dynasty right now? It's just you and Richard. I mean, that's more of a tag team. It doesn't feel like a group, you know.
Oh, here's the thing. The elephant in the room is that MJF was a founding member of the Dynasty,
right?
And he left, and we kind of struggled of trying out members and looking for people, and it's just the Dynasty was so organic. It was so perfect. It was so real. And I mean that. We were real friends. We really just had fun on camera. We really just, everything was just, organic. We didn't script anything. We didn't, overly produce anything. We just let what happened happen. And then when we started trying to fill that void that was left by him, it didn't work. We were trying to put a triangle puzzle piece into a square peg. It just didn't fit. Nothing fit. So now we're just rolling, just me and Holiday, and we're not trying to necessarily expand the Dynasty. Whoa. Unless you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, we're not trying to expand the Dynasty unless the right person came along. But it's not at the forefront of my to-do list.
Okay. You mentioned earlier how, MLW is a great thing for working with other companies and how you were always being thrown different situations. I know you loved the opportunity to work with Noah and go over to Japan, and that was just before the pandemic. Do you have any updates on if MLW maintain that relationship? And like post-pandemic, is that one of the things you're kind of itching to get back and do is more work there?
Yeah, for sure. So actually, funny enough, we had worked out kind of a deal to go back in February for me. But the way things are right now, that the tour schedule was drastically reduced. So it was something like, a 15-day tour with only 2 shows. Whereas before, I was over there for, maybe 30 days and did like 17 shows. So it was drastically reduced. So I was like, okay, well, 2 weeks in Japan to do 2 shows. And, I was kind of unsure about it. We finally pulled the trigger. Okay, let's do it. And then they hit me with, oh, wait, you have to come in another 2 weeks early to quarantine. So it was like, I'm going to sit in a Japanese hotel room for basically a month to do 2 shows. And it wasn't feasible for me. Not even from a monetary standpoint, just from my own sanity. I don't think I could do that and keep sane. So it's definitely something that they still are interested in. I'm still very interested in. And then now we even have a working relationship with Dragon Gate, so that becomes on the table. So the options are there. It's definitely something that will happen again at some point. That was something I made very clear. When we were renegotiating contracts, was just how important it was to me to keep a presence over there. So at some point it'll work out again. Obviously the world's just weird right now and everything's way more difficult than it was, doing things prior. So when things are eased up a little, when I don't have to, maybe quarantine for an additional 2 weeks, or restrictions and visas and all those things are a little bit easier to obtain, it's definitely something I'll be happening.
What do you know about what MLW's looking like here coming up in the near future? I know just as of today, as we were recording, Court was teasing, he signed some TV contract. Like, what do you think the next couple months look like for MLW? Are you anticipating touring, more TV? What do you think it looks like?
So obviously I have limited knowledge. I'm in the dark just as much as a lot of our fans, but I know my own personal, what I want, and then kind of just from a couple discussions with the office, it's kind of been reciprocated, is we really wanted to minimize how much product we're putting out without fans. It's very just, because pro wrestling is very much driven by the fan base. It's very much, not meant to just be observed. It's meant to be kind of an interaction. That being said, I think, knock on wood, hopefully, fingers crossed, moving forward, the plan is to get things going with some, maybe limited audience shows moving forward in the next couple months. And once the ball is rolling, once, we get going, my impression is that now it's going to be back in motion back to kind of a little bit of a more normalcy, a more regular schedule. But I kept, if you would have asked me back last March if we'd still be in a situation like this, I would have never guessed. So I don't want to predict anything, but from the impression I get, the plans are being set in motion to get things moving back in a little bit of a more regular fashion here in the pretty immediate future.
That would be awesome. And, a lot of people talk about, obviously, the drawbacks of performing in something like this. But is there anything about this period of time that you have enjoyed, that when you roll out of this and on the other side, you're like, I'm going to maybe kind of keep doing a little bit of this thing that I've picked up in the last year or anything like that?
So the big one for me is just the fact that I was able to heal a lot of injuries, let my body rest, let my body recover. And then as I've kind of gotten back into wrestling, honestly, this is so weird because I spent so many years of my life just on the go, nonstop. Every weekend I was getting on planes or getting in cars, one hotel to another. And then, everything stopped and I didn't, travel for months and months and months. And then I got to the point where I started traveling again, I get like a travel anxiety. I'd get like a little bit like nervous and like, I wasn't scared. I'm not one of those people who's scared about, what the current situation. I would just like think I was forgetting something or like feel a little bit like homesick or not having my comforts, my gym, my own house, my kitchen, my dog, my girlfriend. And I just like feel like anxious about it. And I'd never gotten that before. I what I'm trying to get at is moving forward, I've kind of gotten to a place now where I don't feel like I have to constantly be taking every single booking that comes my way. I definitely feel like I've gotten an appreciation for letting my body rest, letting my mind rest, enjoying some time at home. So I'm finally at a point now where I'm just as happy to see a weekend full of bookings as I am to see a weekend off of bookings. So moving forward, I think I've grown a little bit of an appreciation and a respect for the fact that I'm over 30 years old now, and my body is not going to last forever. So I can't be as reckless with it, and I need to appreciate the time when I have to lay around in bed for a couple extra hours.
Amen, brother. All right. Well, Hammerstone, I want to thank you so much for taking some more time to chat with me. Again, it goes down tonight. You're going to go and get that National Openweight Championship back from Mil Muertes. Anything you want to plug, promote, put over here before we wrap it up here today?
Just follow me on social media. That's at Alex Hammerstone on Twitter, Instagram, Alexander Hammerstone on Facebook. Follow MLW and watch us, whether it's on beIN Sports, on Stone, and if you don't have any of those services, everyone has YouTube. So catch the episode, watch me whip ass tonight, and appreciate everyone's support. Take care, guys.